Before I can tell you how I made progress towards fixing the problem, I need to show you just how unfocused I was. I would procrastinate in basically every area of my life. The idea of doing anything remotely productive would fill me with dread, as if I was about to do something that would actually be physically painful. Which is stupid, I know, but I'd somehow managed to condition myself to only feel comfortable in the most hyper-stimulating situations that I could expose myself to. And this is best illustrated by my typical internet usage at the time. I'd sit at my desk watching YouTube on my laptop. Sounds innocent enough, but I wouldn't just watch one YouTube video at a time like a normal person. I'd constantly have 5 to 10 tabs open at any given time. And soon enough, one of them would lose my interest and I'd click on another. And then I'd find myself cycling through all of the YouTube videos I had open, which I think says something about my attention span at the time. At the same time, I would have RuneScape open on the other side of my screen, and I'd have my phone in my hand browsing Reddit and Instagram pretty much constantly. And to make matters even worse, at the time I was exclusively drinking coffee and soft drinks all day long, so my caffeine intake was through the roof. So picture me all jittery from the caffeine, switching from tab to tab, playing my game, on my phone, over and over, just back and forth, all of these different things. It all felt super high octane and fast paced, and it was kind of fun in a way. But then I'd get to the end of the day and I'd just be exhausted from task switching all day long. And I'd feel a bit of pain because I was like, I've wasted another day. I'm never going to do anything with my life. And then I'd try and get to sleep, and I had the worst quality sleep ever because I had so much caffeine running through my system. Over the long term, this led to me feeling pretty hopeless. I'd convinced myself that I had a complete inability to focus, and that as a result, I would never achieve any of the goals that I wanted to. I would try to start something, usually a YouTube video, but soon enough I'd fall back into old habits. I knew that I needed to change long before I finally did. It took years and years of trying to change all my habits at once and failing for me to finally realize that the only way I was going to make progress was to adopt a slow and steady process of incremental improvements over time. One thing to note if you're trying to reduce the amount of time that you spend online is to have something to do to replace that time. I very much doubt that I'd be able to cut down as much as I have if I wasn't using the time gained to work on YouTube videos. So have a plan. Whether it's a hobby, some exercise, or maybe a side business that you want to start, have something that you can fill the time with. Because if the only thing left to do without the internet is just stare at a wall, you're going to go back to old habits. The first things I focused on were cutting down my caffeine intake and trying to work on videos. I didn't explicitly try to cut down on time online, I just tried to work on videos more. And I started incredibly small. At the time, I was having 4 coffees a day and up to 12 Pepsi Max cherries, which is an insane 880 milligrams of caffeine a day. So I said, okay, I'm gonna cut down. I'm gonna have 6 Pepsi Max cherries a day, which I know is still a ton. But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that, like, I'm not capable of doing anything insane overnight, and you're probably not either. If you have the problems that I had back then the chances are you don't have the self-discipline or willpower to make a really difficult change overnight and stick to it. So you have to meet yourself where you currently are and make a small change that you can actually stick to and stick to long term. So how did cutting down from 12 to 6 Pepsis a day affect my life? Well, my sleep got dramatically better, having way less caffeine, and also I made an effort to get it in earlier in the day. Just made my sleep so much better. And when your sleep is better, having the discipline to stick to other things that you're trying to do is way easier because you have more energy, because you're finally well rested. If you want to improve your sleep quality, check out my sleep hygiene video, which I'll link in the description. I was in a similar situation with this YouTube channel. I wanted to start going for it. I wanted to put in hours every day and start making videos. But I knew, because I know myself, that I wouldn't stick to that. So I said, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write for 5 minutes every day, no matter what. And, you know, it could be writing video ideas. It could be the start of a script of a video. It could even just be stream of consciousness. But the main thing was that I sat down in front of my laptop, opened Google Docs, and did some typing. The quality of whatever it was that I produced was completely irrelevant to me. My standards were as low as someone can set their standards. And the fact that I had set my standards low allowed me to just write without worrying about the quality of what I'd written. And sometimes I would write for more than 5 minutes, because sometimes you have an idea and then the timer goes off saying you're done with your 5 minutes, but you just want to keep going, you want to flesh it out. So I'd do 10 or maybe 15 minutes. But sometimes I was feeling particularly lazy and I would just end up doing 5 minutes of stream of consciousness, because that's just easy and you can just vomit onto the page. But the point is that I set myself a very easy goal and I stuck to it. As far as my internet usage was concerned, the process was pretty simple. I decided I'm only gonna watch one YouTube video at a time. And I would notice myself opening new tabs and make a point to close the one that I was just on. Because it's absolutely fine to not be interested in a video and click off it, but it's not fine to open 12 and keep darting back and forth. The process was a bit less straightforward. It wasn't as set in stone. It was more about learning to pay attention to my bad habits and correct them when I noticed them propping up. Over time I did get better, and nowadays I'm pretty good at just doing one thing at a time online. I even uninstalled Reddit and Instagram on my phone, so that was one less thing to be distracted by. I did subsequently reinstall Reddit, because apparently I can't handle not having it on my phone. But a few months of tapering off later, I did uninstall it once more. And hopefully that time was the last time. Slowly over time, I took another small step here and there. And now I spend about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more a day, working on my YouTube videos. My internet usage is a lot more relaxed and focused now. And as far as caffeine intake, I'm down from 4 coffees and 12 Pepsis a day to 2 coffees and 2 Pepsis a day. And obviously there is still progress to be made, and there always will be, but I'm proud of the progress I've made so far, and I will make more, but I will make it slowly, because that seems to work for me. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, leave it a like. If you're interested in seeing more, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.